Welcome to Have You Read Any Good Books? I'm Mavis Applewater, and this is Author Chat. Feel free to click like and subscribe. If you enjoy a good steamy romance, you're going to love this week's guest. Her novels Vacation Land, Chef's Special, Almost Heaven, and The Right Time have each won a Goldie Award for romance. In 2014, she received the Alice B. Readers Award for her body of work. I'm of course speaking of the remarkable Susan X. Meagher. And now, Susan. Welcome, Sue. It's been a long time.
I, it has.
Susan.
I didn't want to correct you, but I do prefer.
Susan, yeah, that was me, and I knew better.
People have trouble with the first name because they shorten it, and they have trouble with the last name because it's almost unpronounceable.
Meagher.
Correct.
Which I thank you for putting up on your Facebook page, the correct way to pronounce your last name.
I put it everywhere. But I still get a lot of Meaghers.
Yeah, I used to call you that.
What are you going to do? That's what it looks like.
I first met you back in the BardCon days.
Yeah. BardCon days.
I love doing that, and I've had several people I've talked to. Yeah, that all came out of there.
Yep. It was the most, it was low key, very casual.
Right.
It wasn't these are the writers and these are the readers. Everybody seemed much more on the same level, which I like.
Yeah, it was much more interactive, and
yep,
it was awesome. And your work, the San Francisco series, in many ways, kind of started everything for you.
I would think so.
Yeah.
First word of fiction I ever wrote.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. And you started with A, B, C, D.
Well, I just started. And when I was, I don't know, maybe I had 300,000 words. And I thought, this is too big for a book. So I'll make it into 2 books. And then I thought, well, 3 books. And then I thought, oh, what the hell?
What the hell? Let's go for 26. That's a good number.
Yeah, I think I was probably on the 4th before I had really decided to keep going.
Oh, it's a great series. I always loved it. Loved it.
Thanks. It's almost over.
Yeah, I saw that. I was prowling around.
I'm going to publish Yearnings in January.
Awesome.
1 left.
Wow. XYZ. So January, so something to look forward to.
I have probably 2 books coming out in January. I'd like one to come out in December, but I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
Depends on what Amazon does. I've been doing audiobooks, and Audible is really slow. It takes at least 2 weeks, sometimes longer.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're going right through the Audible, not doing the Find Away Voices?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
All right.
Yeah, I'll text you.
I'm always happy to not use an Amazon product.
Yeah, because Amazon will limit you to, you can do Audible and that's it. And it is a bigger royalty through the Draft to Digital that does Kobo and Apple Plus, Apple.
Yeah.
We'll link you with, I got it over here. Find Away Voices, which you can Find Away Voices, which will hook you up with everyone, including Spotify. So you get it out there more. And I only know this is the reason I had the microphone and everything and said, I should do YouTube. It's because I'm doing my first one. So that's been a learning curve. Yeah. It's like,
the most fun is the editing process. Gosh.
I know.
I wish I could do that every day.
Just sit there and remind myself I am from Massachusetts. Yay.
But it takes you, let's say it takes you 45 minutes to record a chapter. It
Hmm.
takes at least 90 to edit it, at least. It's a royal pain in the butt.
Well, I'm sending mine to someone else and let them deal with it.
Um, I
Yeah.
don't have anybody who will do it for me. So,
I'm going to send you some info. Someone will happily do it for
yeah,
very reasonable rate. Uh, every time I hear you read in public, I
yeah.
just get my wallet out because I know I'm going to buy that book. It's just, it's like, I have to read that now. Damn it.
Thank you for saying that.
Well, that's the one behind me. Yeah. How do you think I ended up with that? You sent little Taylor around to shuffling the books.
Not so
Uh,
little anymore.
no, no. Okay. It's like time got away from us somewhere along the line.
Yeah, you blinked and yeah.
Well, Heather and I always talk about it, and was it in a couple of days? It'll be 32 years for us.
Wow, great.
And I was just like, when did that happen? I just don't
Yeah.
understand how that happened.
Who was president? I don't know.
Uh, oh no, it was some idiot.
Probably Bush won.
Bush won, yeah. It
Yeah,
was 92, yeah, Bush won.
yeah,
Yikes, that was fun.
yeah.
Vacation Land is a book I've been meaning to get. Well, actually, Heather is
Oh,
into it. She lived in Maine for a while
huh?
before we met. And that's the direction we were heading after I had retired from the day job. And
Uh-huh.
I actually heard you reading from it, and I should have just got it then. But got a Goldie, Almost Heaven, Chef Special, The Right Time. I remember your first one. You weren't there. Elaine accepted for you.
And I told her to say, thank you very much and sit down. But she said more. And she said, I
Well,
apologize, but I could not just say that.
no, no, it's Laney. Laney's full of surprises. I remember when she said, "Guess who I'm dating?" I went, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yep.
No. Okay. Yeah, a living legend. Good for you. Speaking of, how is Carrie, your wife?
She's lovely.
You guys were a little bit behind us in New York. It took a while to get legal there,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
surprised me. It really did.
Yeah. New York is a surprising place.
Uh, I remember because Massachusetts, and then we got married, and then Iowa, which I did not see coming.
Yeah. No one did.
I was like, really? We're married in Massachusetts and Iowa. Okay.
What do we do between here and there?
Uh,
There are a lot of states where we're not married.
I used to joke though. Oh, so when I go to this book signing in Texas, we're not married there. Yeah, that went over well.
It's true, probably. If it could be true again, it would be.
Yeah, well,
We'll
it
see.
could be. Yeah. Now, Vacation Land was the one where we all thought that the election in 2016 was going to go differently.
You did.
So you had
You're
one thing
wrong.
mapped out, and all of a sudden you had to write a whole new book.
Life gets in your way.
It is.
Things
It's
happen.
yes, sometimes good things, and sometimes this
Yeah.
crap.
Luckily, I usually have a couple of ideas almost ready to go.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I do plan ahead. I've got like four that I could pull out and work on if I needed to.
Well, I find I always have to have something in the works,
Yeah, it would drive me nuts if I didn't.
right?
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple people recently who went through years of. I'm like, how does that even happen?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, writing is for my mental health.
Yeah, and it's cheaper than therapy, honestly. Much.
So much cheaper.
So I was poking around your website and whatnot. My goal in writing is to explore feelings. I want to entertain, but I also want to make people think. I've heard that life is all about finding out who we are. To me, life is about finding out who other people are.
I said that, huh?
You
Wow.
did that. It was
I
very,
agree with every word.
yeah, and it's so
That's
you.
nice. I'd hate it if I said something just awful that I no longer believe
and
in.
and put it up there to be like, oh, did I say that? I might have been a little tip in it. Yeah.
Drink it again.
Oh no.
Yes, I give that two thumbs up.
Yeah, it's well said. No, and it's I feel that many ways that we're observing things
Yeah.
and people. And my college roommate likes to point out. I just want to check something because I screwed up yesterday and I didn't have recording on, so we had to do it again. Uh, it's fine. Uh, that hey, that was so and so, and I point out any similarities to any persons living in it, blah blah blah. And she goes, "No, I lived with you for a long time. I know exactly who that is." And do you find that your subconscious sometimes you're like, "Oh crap, that is so and so."
About characters I've written?
Yeah, characters, story
No,
ideas.
I wouldn't say that's subconscious. It's sometimes quite conscious. Yeah, just that's that person. Yeah. I don't think I've ever done it subconsciously. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are in my books who don't know they're in my books.
Well, I find life. Uh, yeah, I used to have. I attended bar for many many years, and we
You got
had
stories.
we had a list going of people who were just that awful to us that I used as victims in like
Yeah,
checkmate. It's like,
sure,
okay, yeah, all right, you must die.
sure.
I get it, and it's like you had it coming. You tipped me
You
in
had it
pennies.
coming.
You were awful to me.
I also vote for that. Yes.
Yeah, and you have to get names from somewhere too. So it's like, so we'd mix and match them, but we had a running list. The
Yep.
servers, bartenders, like, oh yeah, could you just do something nasty to this person? It's like, okay, yeah.
I don't really have an enemies list, but there are people who have in some way offended or harmed my wife, and they are all in my books. I've killed all of them.
Well, they're fair game. I'm sorry. That's just some things you don't do.
Some things you don't do.
Yeah, I got an upstairs neighbor who's heading that way.
Yeah.
Uh, and you are with Brisk. You've been with Brisk for a long time. Brisk
Since
Press.
probably, I don't know, maybe 2000 and maybe 2000, 2001, something like that.
Because first starting out, I know we all tested the waters. It was a new experience. It's like, okay, so here we are.
Yes,
There's publishing companies coming out of the woodwork now,
literally.
literally. And you've been with them a long time, and they do such quality work too. You have a really
I,
great
I
group of
can't
people.
disagree.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I was with Fortitude Press to start.
Oh,
I
that
think
takes me back.
I think they lived for about 3 years, maybe something like that.
Hmm. I don't
And
remember.
then the publisher's attention flagged, and things just weren't getting done. And then it just sort of dissolved in a puff of smoke.
You're standing there holding your contracts, going, now what?
Well, they did publish my first book, and we're gonna do another, and then didn't. So, you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you just roll with it. Yeah,
I'm happy with the way things turned out.
see company. So on the horizon, what we have book
25,
24, 25 coming in January.
25 in January. Its title is Yearnings.
Why? Yeah.
Um, it takes place about 10 minutes after the end of the previous book. So there's no time jump there.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, there was a time jump in X. I jumped 3 whole years, which was massive for me. Um,
Right.
but yeah, Yearnings takes up right when X ended.
Later that day.
Later that day, and it's a big book, as I can testify from doing the audiobook. It's taking me forever.
I
Um,
can't. Well, I know I have to look forward to that with two of mine, but it's like I love the fact that your books are actually bigger than some of mine. It's like yes.
they are big. This one, I think, is about 160,000 words.
Wow.
I don't know what that means in terms of pages. People always ask how many pages that is, and I don't have that ability to translate.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of paper you use.
Yeah. It's a lot. It breaks that 300 goal.
Whatever it is, it's a
Yeah.
lot. And then I have another book called A Novel Beginning that will be out either late December or early January. And this is based on my projection of what could happen if you went to the Writing Academy, to the GCLS Writing Academy,
Okay.
and happened to get a mentor assigned to you that you fall head over heels in love with.
Oh,
Yeah, who knew?
there you go.
And I
And
would say, if I had to characterize, that it is an age gap romance. The mentor is 28 and the mentee is 44.
oh wow. So reverse of what I thought.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds very interesting. For
yeah,
those
I
not
really
familiar
like it.
with GCLS, it's Gold Crown Literary Society, and
Yes,
their main thing is the Writing Academy to help aspiring writers or established writers and having mentors, and some great writers have come out of that. Just
I've been a mentor for many years. It's the favorite thing that I do. Um, and I have never fallen in love with any of my mentees.
well, that's good.
And I'm pretty sure the same goes for them. None of them have written me love poems.
Oh,
Um, but it is fun. And if anybody out there in your listening audience would like to get a little head start on learning how to write, I cannot think of a better spot.
it is a good spot, you do it. Catherine V. Forrest does it. I mean,
Lots of people.
lots of people. We're talking. Lee Lynch has done it.
Sure.
Yeah, and
Radcliffe has,
Rad.
I think KG McGregor has.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if she hasn't. I know Kate Sweeney did it for a while as well.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've got time in your writing schedule, it's good for you.
And it's the simple things, and we learning to hone things in is very important. And
Yeah.
having a mentor who could say that, well, that's great, and that's two books, you know,
Or half a book.
or half a book, which I'm sure has happened.
I'm sure everything has happened at least once.
Mm.
But yeah, I found it fun to write about someone just trying to figure out herself a little better through her writing. And she figures a whole lot out.
Well,
She becomes a lot less buttoned down, as it were. Yeah.
uh, I did a little intro before this, and I described your work as steamy romances.
I I take that compliment.
Yeah, and they are. Uh, I recommend them if you get this is the holiday season, so buying a book is a good thing, even for
Yeah,
yourself. Kick back with like Cherry Cove here and fasten your seatbelts.
there's a lot of them.
Mhm.
I believe I have now 26 standalone books.
Wow.
So I'm neck and neck with the series.
Wow. 26.
Yeah.
Now, do you have out of your work, do you have a favorite or whatever you're working on at the moment? How it takes,
I'm kind of a love the one you're with kind of person.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, all right, what I'm working on now, like Almost Heaven, it's done, it's over with. It's
Yeah. I will think of characters. I'll go someplace and I'll be like, oh, actually just yesterday, um, I went by a place and in the village, I was in Greenwich Village, and one of my characters buys a house on Charles Street. And we were
yeah.
walking down Charles Street, and there was a little house for sale. And I said to Carolyn, Shelby could have bought that. She's like, okay,
Of
sure she could.
course she could. She knows it's not real, honey.
It's real to me.
Yes, yes, they are.
Yeah, they're definitely real to me. And there are some books of my books that I think are better than others. But I would say I pretty much really like all the characters I write.
Except for those
So,
ones you feel a need to kill because,
well, those aren't those main characters.
yeah,
Main
no,
characters do not get killed off in my.
you don't kill the main character, and you don't kill the dog. You know,
No, the
so
dogs are eternal. In my series, Ryan's dog is going to remain around 4 years old forever.
right. Don't kill.
People are like, "Aren't you going to jump ahead?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to kill the dog.
Oh, because it'd be really old then, and you can't
Guys,
kill the dog. You
I
can't.
got to stay in the present so that the dogs and the grandparents and everybody can live forever."
I forget who it was, and an author, and it was at one of the conferences, and she was still getting crap because a couple of books earlier, she killed the dog. It's the dog died, and she goes,
Yeah,
"Yeah, I'll never be doing that again."
better to have a 42-year-old dog than do that
Don't you
again.
don't. No.
Well, I don't blame people for being miffed. You
Well,
want you want to read a romance, you want to have a happy ending, and you want to have those people sort of placed in amber for the rest of your life that you can think of them and they are always freshly in love and starting out together on their journey.
walked away happily ever after.
They stay right there.
Unlike your parents, or or
Unlike
maybe
everyone else in the universe,
everyone else in the
want them
world.
to stay. Yeah,
But that is the great thing about romance. Is
so many great.
even yeah, even though you know, and it better have a happy ending. A few authors have tried not to do that, and I didn't care for it personally.
I am not among them.
No,
I'm all
thank you for
happy
that.
all the time.
And I thank you for that. It's like, okay, I know they're gonna work it out, but right now,
It's looking
oh,
grim.
doesn't look real good. I mean, did she
You know,
just say that to her?
don't you find that that's the hardest part of writing a romance? The like 3 chapters from the end when you have to have something happen that drives them apart and you don't really want to because things are going really well and you're like, let's just stay here. I'm like, no, you got to have a little peak and valley, Susan, not
You
just
know,
all peak.
I am a huge fan of angst. Really comes in handy. That misunderstanding
Yeah,
or something comes up that life can come up, and
yeah,
for whatever I'm doing this for your own good. It's I
yeah.
no, do not leave me for my own good.
Yes, yes. I think that's also very common in an age gap romance
Hmm.
that one person thinks they're saving the other one from something or, you know,
Yeah, it's like, oh
yeah,
no, when I'm this age, you'll be.
Yeah.
Still happy to be with you. Get over yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's no guarantee for anybody. You
No.
can lose a young lover, you can lose an old lover. Just love who you love and stick with them.
And it's so simple. It's so in life that's so simple, but it doesn't always work that way.
No.
But putting up those roadblocks, like you said, you're got three chapters to the end,
Yeah.
and
You
something
have to.
something's gonna happen, or else they're just having sex. Well, that's not bad either.
And nothing wrong with that.
No,
But it's not really a novel if they're
no,
just having sex.
no. That's what I started with. Those little PWPs.
Nothing wrong with that. Who
Mm.
doesn't like to read a PWP on a rainy day?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Sit by the fire, have a cup of tea.
Yeah, and some of those develop into novels, and others is
Sure.
like they just that's all they had to offer. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that's all I got out of them.
Yeah.
Well,
So you got to take what your characters give you.
I am excited though to hear that you're now going audio and new books are coming out. It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna freshen up that credit card again.
I've enjoyed recording the books. I don't
Mhm.
enjoy editing them, but I do enjoy recording them.
Oh, the listening to the playback is just torture for me.
It's not pleasant
Yeah.
and just too time consuming. But I don't like to put anything out if I'm not confident that it's of good quality.
Well, yes, yeah, it has to be. And editing for the written word is so precious. I mean, I was talking to someone about that yesterday, and altars should be built to good editors. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And to writers who are willing to put in the work,
Mm-hmm.
do enough, um, uh, to go through the book two or three or four times.
Yes.
That's a
It's not,
lot of work. It's hard work.
yeah.
And you have to delete things that you don't want to. You have to change things around that you'd rather not. But if you're trying to put out a quality product, you have to.
Yeah. I mean, and a good editor will ask those tough questions like, well, is she ever going to answer that phone that you had ringing? Those
Yeah,
little gaps that writers like, oh, I never closed that door. She never
yeah.
closed that door. It's still open. That's not
Or
good.
or at the beginning of the book, your character was really flighty and fly off the handle, and then she just stopped being that way.
Yeah,
What stopped her? People generally don't change major parts of their personality without some amount of work or reflection or thought. But sometimes characters are just like different people. All of a sudden, I'm like, what happened?
without telling us how that happened.
Yeah,
that shouldn't happen.
not good. Not good. That's what
Oh,
editors should be able to do. Go
yeah,
through the transition with your characters, see how they're changing, and make sure that their changes make sense.
right.
And if your character has gets a concussion and is stabbed in the gut, they should not be able to get up the next morning and think, "Oh, I'm a little stiff." No.
No, I get very
No.
frustrated by things like that.
If they're human beings and you're portraying them as human beings on Earth, it takes a while to get over those kinds of things. There are repercussions.
Exactly. And there are a couple of things that bug me. One, if someone refers to Jack Daniels as bourbon, it's
It's a whiskey with an E in it.
E, sour mash whiskey. If you go to their website, they say we're not bourbon. But I had one book I kept reading, and it's like, oh, and I'll have a shot of bourbon, Jack Daniels. It's like, well, no, no, which you want, a shot of bourbon or just Jack? And
And a
that's,
good editor should catch that, really.
you know, and there was another one that they and the editor should have caught this is they stood on the cliffs of the Cape.
The what's?
Yeah. Cape Cod is beautiful and has many sand
Maybe
dunes. Yeah,
maybe they were in Dover, England.
oh, you're on Cape.
Okay.
Ah,
In my first book, my editor said, you have your character taking a overnight flight to Italy, and there is no overnight flight from JFK. I'm like, wow, you looked up the flight schedules.
that's a good editor,
That's a
right?
good editor.
Oh, you can't do that. Crap.
Can't do that. And nobody would have noticed, but it was wrong.
And it should be fixed.
You shouldn't put stuff in there that can't be true.
I love doing the research. To me, that's half the fun.
Me
It's
too. I saw a
yeah.
thing yesterday where someone had been talking to a new writer and they said that they were going to do a historical romance and they were going to use Chat GPT to do the research. And this person said, why don't you use a magic 8 ball? It would be more accurate.
Today's not the day.
Try again later. Yeah.
Ah, Chat
Again, don't do
GBT.
that, anybody. Don't use Chat GPT for your research for your book.
No, get out there. And if you pitch the idea to your publisher first, you could write off that trip.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like get out there, experience it.
Yeah,
Libraries still exist.
they do.
They
And
do.
librarians still exist, and they're happy to help you.
Yes, yes.
And if you
Um,
want to use the internet, which I'm all in favor of, use it to talk to people who are experts in the thing you are writing about. There are many of them out there.
yes. People who've been to these places or done these things or
Yeah,
lived through it. There's a whole lot of experience as writers we find fascinating, but we haven't done.
yes, yes, whole lots.
Oh, lots, whole bunch. I mean, I took that degree in theater. I did not become a cop or a nun. So there you go. There's one
Well,
book right there. It needs a lot of explaining.
here you go.
Uh, but you talk to cops, you talk to nuns,
Yes. And it's not hard to find one of either.
right? Not in my family. It's really easy. Just, but yeah, the research to me has always been, especially when you're delving into a little bit of history there.
Yes.
And go immerse yourself in it, learn it. Because let me tell you, if you get that fact wrong, there's going to be at least one person who's never going to let you forget it.
Yeah. People
Uh,
remember.
You think killing the dog is bad? Get the
Yeah.
wrong model car, or say no, you can't fly there, not
Right.
overnight. That's amazing, though. I have looked up schedules, and I did not know you couldn't fly from JFK to Italy.
Well, in 2002, they weren't
Yeah,
doing it. It
yeah,
depends. It could be every day now, the way
yeah, yeah. I
airlines are.
The last gig I had was in an international terminal.
Mhm.
So I'm just amazed at the flights that would just be happening all day out of
Yeah.
Logan. Yeah, it's like, wow. Two places I never thought of. And it's just like, oh, yeah, we're flying
Yeah.
to Japan today. There was a morning flight to Japan every day.
Mhm.
That was fun. Well, I used to sit there and I had have like the babble on my thing
Mhm.
to like convey what different things were.
Right.
But unlike Americans, most people can speak our language. We just are terrible at learning other people's languages.
We are.
We are horrible that way.
So we don't stress it too in school.
No, no. Yeah, other I found that other places that everyone knows at least one or usually two other languages than their native.
Yeah.
And here it's like, what? I mean, I have to still explain what I'm saying when I talk like I'm from the North Shore.
Yeah.
No, no, that's the thing. A spucky is a roll. Come on.
I love regionalisms.
Mm, they're so great. Because, well, one of your main characters in the San Francisco series was, has an Irish name and Irish background. And these are, very regional things. And then the other one's from California.
Yeah.
It's like, that's really a clash of two worlds right there.
Many generations of California. I
Mm-hmm.
think five or four. Yeah. And having lived in California, it was more common that people had just gotten there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have found that about California and where I live now. Nobody's really from here. I like one or
Where do
two
you
people.
live?
Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nobody. Very few people are actually from here.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's Las Vegas. It
But I was,
wasn't a plan. The niece and her husband were having a kid, so we get to be surrogate grandmas.
oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's how we ended up out here. And it's like, well, the weather's nice and the kid's here, so
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd move. I'd move to be able to be a
oh
grandma
yeah,
for sure.
oh yeah, I love it, I love it. And I had retired. My mom had passed, and we just
Mhm.
drove cross country and said, okay. It's an adjustment though from East
Oh,
Coast
yeah,
to
for sure.
Vegas. It's like, oh, okay. It's a little different out here.
Keeps you young.
It does. Keeps you busy.
Changing what you do and where you live is, I think it's good for the soul.
Oh yeah. And you guys moved a few times before
Oh,
New
it's
York was it,
ridiculous.
right?
It's ridiculous how many times we've moved. I think together we've lived in at least 20 different apartments or houses.
Right.
Yeah, we like to. We've moved one, two, three, four, five times just in New York.
Wow.
Yeah. My dad always said that he was sure that creditors were after us, but no, we just we like to move.
Back
We
in the
like to
days when
change.
you could actually hide from creditors.
That was back in the day. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't do that anymore. They're gonna catch you.
they'll find you.
So yeah,
But
we've been where we are now for 4 years, and that's as long as we've lived anywhere.
wow.
Yeah,
Yes, this wasn't the direction we thought. We were heading towards Maine.
right.
Yeah, it's like
We
because
considered Maine,
yeah.
Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts. Those were all on our short list, but we wound up in Dutchess County in the Hudson Valley.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah,
Okay. On that note, we're gonna run out of time because I used the free version of
time
everything.
marches on.
Yes. Okay, so new titles in January.
New
Audiobooks
title:
coming. Yep.
A Novel Beginning
A novel beginning.
and Yearnings and
Yearnings.
the Ifm Hissif
Yeah.
series.
I'm gonna put the links for Brisk Press
Right.
and your website as well down below. And wish me luck because I'm not technically inclined. I've just
I will click on the links to make sure they work.
okay. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Susan, and we'll
Thank
do
you for
this
inviting
again.
me.
All right. I'm gonna